Good afternoon. Please rise for the procession of the graduates.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Stephen Alway, Dean of the College of Health Professions, and on behalf of our university and college administration, faculty, and staff, I would like to welcome graduates, parents, family members, and guests to the 2022 commencement ceremony for the College of Health Professions at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Please remain standing and join Ms. Brittany McCullough in the singing of our national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Brittany. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. I would like to first congratulate you, the graduating class of 2022, on a job well done. As graduates, you have much to be proud of. You have been uniquely part of the 2022 graduating class of the College of Health Professions of a statewide University of Tennessee Health Science Center. This degree is not a gift, nor is it even a right, but it is something that you have earned, and you can and should be very proud of your accomplishments. You have not only survived a very difficult curriculum, but you have refused to allow a worldwide pandemic that popped up in the middle of your educational experience to derail your training and your career goals. Your efforts have paid off, and you are now about to receive the acknowledgments and the benefits and the rewards of all of your effort. However, as you know, your degrees are never obtained in isolation, and I think it's only appropriate that we acknowledge and congratulate your families, the loved ones, and friends who have supported you emotionally, physically, and yes, financially. Graduates, would you please rise, turn to face the audience, and offer your thanks to those who've supported you throughout your academic journey. Graduates, you may be seated. Graduates of 2022, we are here today to honor you for your hard work and your perseverance. This marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The hours of lectures, the COVID-induced Zoom lectures, the transition back to in-person instruction in clinics and labs, and enduring the lines at Chick-fil-A, and reviewing those recorded Zoom lectures again, you've earned the right to savor this moment and be proud of all that you have accomplished. You are finished, but really, now this is when the work will begin. As you step into the next chapter of your career, you will be faced with challenges in healthcare diagnosis and rehabilitation that are complicated by patients that have the slow deterioration that occurs with the onset of diseases like obesity or diabetes, or the rapid functional losses associated with cancer or COPD or heart disease, all of which have become even more complicated by COVID. However, as graduates in the College of Health Professions, you should lead the charge for those in your care to regain health, to slow disease, to reduce frustration, to support social justice in a healthcare delivery system and minimize prejudice and physical and emotional suffering for the citizens of our state and our country. As graduates, you will find many ways to give back to your profession, your community, your college, your university, your program, and in fact, your world. The world that you are entering is in fact troubled. But with troubles there are solutions, and with obstacles come opportunities for you to help make someone's life a little bit better. As you graduate and look forward to the future, there's probably no better goal than to use your God-given talents and the training that you've acquired at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center that will be passed on through your hands to a person in need, whether through your work at a bench, in a hospital, or in a clinic. While you've acquired the knowledge and skills at UTHSC, your training is not finished. You should strive to become a lifelong learner who will learn from experience, from trusted members of their mentoring team, and find a mentor. You'll benefit from that, from new knowledge, and from new research as it comes into your field. Be objective by striving to obtain the best data and information that you can make the best decisions with. And try each day to use that information to find ways to serve with passion, empathy, compassion, and to know that your knowledge and skills will make a better life for someone who is depending on you to help them. Thank you, and congratulations, graduates. At this time, I would like to thank and introduce some of the very special people who provide leadership and direction for our institution, our college, and our departments. I'd like to introduce and ask them to stand and be acknowledged. First, Mr. Randy Boyd, President of the University of Tennessee. Dr. Peter Buckley, Chancellor of the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Dr. Cindy Russell, Vice Chancellor for Academic, Faculty, and Student Affairs. And I'd like to introduce some of our college administration and the faculty, beginning with Dr. James Carson, who's the Senior Associate Dean of Research, Graduate Studies, and Chief of the Division of Regenerative and Rehabilitative Sciences. Dr. Neil Chumbler, Executive Associate Dean of Academic Faculty and Student Affairs. And Dr. Richard Kasser, who's Assistant Dean for Student Affairs and who is the Interim Chair for the Department of Physical Therapy for half of the past year. I want to acknowledge as well Dr. Patrick Plyler, who is our Assistant Dean for Faculty Affairs, and he's part of the Department of Audiology and Speech Pathology on our Knoxville campus. Our department chairs and faculty will be introduced now. First, Dr. Neil Chumbler, who's also the chair of the Department of Diagnostic and Health Sciences. And would the faculty from the Department of Diagnostic and Health Sciences please rise and be acknowledged. Dr. Barry Dale, who is the chairperson and program director for the Department of Physical Therapy, and will his faculty from the Department of Physical Therapy please rise with him to be acknowledged. and Dr. Ann Zachary, chairperson for the Department of Occupational Therapy, and will her faculty please rise? Occupational Therapy faculty. I want to also acknowledge Dr. Ashley Harkrider, who's the chair of the Department of Audiology and Speech Pathology, who leads a very large department on our Knoxville campus. And the students from Audiology and Speech Pathology will get the opportunity to graduate next week on May the 18th. I wish also to thank and acknowledge our college staff for their supporting our students and the departments and to make our programs work so smoothly. Between our two campuses in Memphis and Knoxville, our statewide college, we are graduating today and next week 262 students, and we are very proud of each of our graduates. So congratulations. It is now my distinct pleasure to invite University of Tennessee System President Randy Boyd to the podium to deliver his important message and remarks on this exciting occasion.
Thank you, Dean Alway. Well, greetings from the University of Tennessee System. And on behalf of the University of Tennessee System, with 53,000 students, 5 campuses, we just added one, 14,000 faculty and administrators all across the state, offices in all 95 counties, with extension offices and 140,000 4-H students across the state, with 10 ag research centers and 4,000 head of cattle. I'd like to congratulate you on your tremendous achievement. And I'm looking forward in a few minutes to be able to stand up here and personally graduate you, or congratulate you for me personally. But I'm excited to be here with you today for a lot of reasons, but my understanding is many of you are going to be practicing in the state of Tennessee, which is great. We always love bringing more talent to our state. But for me personally, I'm an old athlete that's in denial, and I keep injuring myself about once every year. So there's probability I may be a client of some of you over the next several years. Well, I got some advice a few years back on how to speak at a commencement. See, I was a commencement speaker about 10 years ago, and I went really long. Some guy came up to me afterwards and said, Randy, I want to give you a bit of advice. Here's 3 things to know when you're talking at a commencement. First, tell stories so you're not so boring. And second, it's better if the story has a point. It doesn't have to, but it's kind of helpful if it has actually a point. And finally, the most important thing to always remember is that nobody came here to hear you speak, so be brief. So I'm going to try to remember those 3 things, and I'm just going to tell you one story. And this is a story about a person that I got to meet that gave me some great advice about 7 years ago when I was the Commissioner of Economic and Community Development working for Governor Haslam. Now, by the way, if any governor ever calls you and offers you to be the Commissioner of Economic and Community Development Commissioner, say yes. It's a great job. You travel all over the world asking people to move to your home state, create jobs that your friends and your neighbors get to take. And so it's a fantastic opportunity. But every now and then in that job, you would do missions where you go to a particular country and take like 30 or 40 other business executives and try to make connections and build networking. And one year in 2015, the governor and I, with 30 or so folks, all went to Israel. And it was a typical week where we had all these meetings, but the very last day of the week, the governor and I, just ourselves alone, had an opportunity for 1 hour to meet with Shimon Peres. So I'm looking at the faces and I'm thinking, you're looking at me like, who the heck is Shimon Peres? So this is on the final, in your final transcript, but one last test question. How many of you know who Shimon Peres is? You can raise your hand. That's what I thought. Okay, well, those that are older out there probably might know who he is, but for those that don't, let me tell you why I was so excited to meet Shimon Peres. So Shimon Peres, at this time, by the way, he's 92 years old, but in his life, he had been the president of Israel 2 different times. He had been a cabinet minister 12 times. That's like being the Secretary of Education or the Secretary of Commerce. He was a cabinet minister 12 different times. And he was the prime minister 3 times. So in Israel and countries that have a parliament, the prime minister actually is the person that day to day runs the country. And he was the prime minister 3 times. He was also the minister of defense at age 26. If you know anything about Israel, being in charge of defense is really important. And he was the minister of defense at age 26. Oh, and he also won a Nobel Peace Prize. So he's done a few things. So I was really excited to meet him, but he's 92 years old. So I'm thinking, you know, at 92, he's probably not going to be as sharp maybe as he once was, but it didn't really matter. I just wanted to be in his presence, just wanted to be able to shake his hand and say that I have met the guy. So the governor and I knocked on the door of his office, and he opens it up, and he was the most immaculately dressed gentleman. He was the most wise person I think I've ever met. You know, they always talk about people, the helicopter start at 30,000 feet and helicopter down. I think Shimon Peres starts at 30,000 feet and helicopters up. His view of the world was so broad and so deep. I didn't get in trouble too often with the governor. I worked for him for 2 years, but this is one of the times that I did. Because I remember after sitting with Shimon Peres for an hour, afterwards we're walking down the hall, and the governor looks over at me and says, "Hey, you were taking notes, weren't you?" I said, "No," and he kind of shook his head in disgust. But so I've forgotten most of what he said, but I remember how he started and how he finished, and I want to share this advice with you. This is advice I got when I was 55 years old. You get the benefit of hearing it at least 30 years earlier, and hopefully it'll be as much value to you as it has been to me. So we go into his den, we sit down on a couch, he's across from us, and he could tell that we were a little nervous, didn't really know what to say, we were kind of fumbling around, and so he's probably used to people having that kind of reaction, so he helps us out. He says, "You know, sometimes when people meet me, they ask, what was my greatest accomplishment?" I think this is pretty good. 92 years old, all these things accomplished, Nobel Peace Prize, a Minister of Defense. He says, when people ask me what my greatest accomplishment is, I tell them, my greatest accomplishment will be what I do tomorrow. And then they'll ask me, what was your greatest failure? And I always respond, my greatest failure was that I didn't dream big enough. And then he went on to share all kinds of other great advice that I totally forgot because I didn't write it down. But I remember how he finished. When he finished, he said, when we were getting ready to go, he says, "You're old when you can count more accomplishments of the past than you can dreams of the future. And you're forever young when you can count more dreams of the future than you can accomplishments of the past. Always dream big." And I've taken those words to heart, and I hope that maybe there's some good advice for you in those as well. So thanks for letting me tell you that one story. Well, we're gathered here today to applaud all of you and all that you've accomplished as a student. It's also important to remember that this is a time to think about your next accomplishment, what you will accomplish tomorrow, and remember, do not fail to dream big. And as with any great accomplishment, you never do it alone. Surrounding yourself with great people is one of the most important keys to success. So today, make a point to say thank you to your family, your friends, your teachers, your peers, and all those that helped you achieve this great accomplishment. While this is a big day for you, you're also a part of something even bigger. This year, across the state of Tennessee, there's 8,417 other UT students graduating across the state of Tennessee and becoming University of Tennessee alumni. And 259 of them are graduating from this college here today. And that's a big deal and something to be very proud of. There are literally hundreds of thousands of UT alumni that have come before you, and there will be hundreds of thousands more that will come after you. They have individually and collectively made an incredible impact in their community, their state, and the world, and so will you. As new alums, I'd like to leave you with 3 challenges. First, live a life that leaves the world a better place than you found it. Second, live a life that honors the UT Health Science Center's tradition and makes former alumni proud. And third and finally, live a life that will inspire the future generations that will follow you. So in closing, don't think of the commencement as an end. It's just the beginning. Your greatest accomplishment will be what you do tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I hope and I'm sure you will have great memories of your time here, but please stay engaged and continue to give back to your alma mater so that thousands more can benefit from the great experience that you've had. Again, it's been my honor to be with you, and I look forward to congratulating you in person in a few moments. Thank you.
Thank you, President Boyd, for your inspiring message, and to our graduates and your leadership for our great institution. We're just really thankful that he had the time and interest to come to our graduation today. So thank you, President Boyd. I'd like to at this time introduce Dr. Neil Chumbler, who is our Executive Associate Dean for Academic, Faculty, and Student Affairs, and also the chair of the Department of Diagnostic and Health Sciences, to recognize our students who are graduating with honors and the faculty who are receiving the Excellence in Teaching Awards. Dr. Chumler.
Good afternoon. The students graduating with highest honors, high honors, and honors are wearing an orange cord to symbolize their outstanding scholastic achievement. A list of the students receiving the highest honors, high honors, and honors can be found on page 7 and 8 of your program. Students graduating with highest honors, high honors, and honors, please stand right now. Face the audience. Face the audience. And be recognized. You may be seated. Thank you. The Excellence in Teaching Award is presented on behalf of the University of Tennessee Health Science Center Student Government Association. The students in our college chose 2 faculty to receive this award. The faculty, please stand when your name is called, and audience, please hold your applause. Unfortunately, the first recipient this year is under the weather and will not be able to make it today. It's Dr. Rebecca Reynolds from the Health Informatics and Information Management Program. Dr. Reynolds' students described her as an amazing educator, a highly qualified informatics professional, an excellent research collaborator, a superb mentor, and a truly good person. She prepared countless students for professional and academic success through her tenure while demonstrating compassion and dedication. Whether it be inside or outside the classroom, Dr. Reynolds shows commitment to producing top quality graduates ready to thrive in the informatics field. She was well deserving of this award. The second recipient of this year's Excellence in Teaching Award from the Department of Occupational Therapy is Dr. Lauren Woods. Dr. Lauren Woods, students describe her as going above and beyond in her profession as an outstanding occupational therapist. Whether it's teaching the class, having a one-on-one meeting, working with the club she advises, or volunteering in the community, she is going to give her all. She is passionate about the field of occupational therapy and strives to help every one of her students to be the best occupational therapist in the future. Dr. Woods is kind, empathetic, adaptable when needed. She's willing to go the extra mile to help her students succeed. Please join me in congratulating these faculty members. We also, from the Department of Occupational Therapy, have a faculty member that is retiring this year from the university. We would like to take this time to thank Dr. Anita Mitchell for her dedication to our students and the university. Dr. Mitchell started at UTHSC in 1990, teaching part-time while she was chief of occupational therapy at the Bowling Center. In 1992, she started as a full-time faculty member in the occupational therapy department. She's retiring as a full professor after more than 30 years at the university. During this time, she was awarded 2 Student Government Excellence in Teaching Awards while being nominated multiple times. Dr. Mitchell is an outstanding professor and a role model. From the first day of class, she wants her students to be successful in the learning and future careers. She always tries to find fun, creative, and interactive ways to make the course material engaging. She encourages us to build our evidence-based practice and critical reasoning skills that will help us become successful future practitioners. Even after providing an in-depth explanations on the course material, she's always willing to meet with her students and help when challenges arise to ensure that her students get the best learning experience possible. She has made an impact in so many of her students' lives, and it's truly been an honor to have her as part of the occupational therapy department at UTHSC. Please join me in thanking Dr. Anita Mitchell for her dedication to the students and the occupational therapy department. I would like to now introduce Dr. Keisha Burnett, Program Director of our Cytopathology Practice and Secretary of the Alpha Eta Honor Society.
I have the privilege of acknowledging the graduates who have been nominated into the Alpha Eta Honor Society. Alpha Eta is the National Honor Society for Allied Health Professions. The purpose of the Alpha Eta Society is the promotion and recognition of significant scholarship, leadership, and contributions to the allied health professions. Our motto is, "Together we serve," because we represent all the allied health professions. Membership is limited to those graduates who have maintained a high grade point average while enrolled in their professional program and have shown capacity for leadership and achievement in their chosen allied health field. Graduates are nominated by the Alpha Eta faculty members of their specific program. No more than 20% of the graduating class is eligible. Graduates nominated for membership into Alpha Eta are wearing green honor cords. Nominated faculty must be a part of the COHP faculty for at least 3 years and demonstrate leadership and professionalism. A list of the graduates and faculty nominated for Alpha Eta Society can be found on page 9 of your program. Graduates and faculty nominated for Alpha Eta Society, please stand, face the audience, and be recognized. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce Dr. James Carson, Senior Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Studies.
Well, hello. I have the honor of acknowledging graduate student research in the College of Health Professions that's been recognized by our faculty for its level of excellence. Graduates, as I announce your name, if you could stand. The recipient from the Health Informatics and Information Management Program is Christina Lay, and the faculty mentor was Dr. Sajeesh Kumar. Is she present today? I don't know if she is. Well, let's give Christina a well-earned round of applause. All right, I'd like to introduce Dr. Rick Kasser, who's Assistant Dean for Student Affairs.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. It's good to see the students dressed up. I hardly recognize some of them. But back in 1979, the Student Government Association Executive Council at UTHSC established a society that would recognize those students who, because of their service and leadership, have significantly contributed to student life on campus. This organization is called the Imhotep Society, which is named after the Egyptian god of medicine. And he just so happened to be born near Memphis, Egypt. These students have already received their certificates from the Student Government Association and will be recognized today. The members' names are on page 11 of your program. Will the members please stand, face the audience, and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. Please welcome Dr. Kathy Kenwright, Program Director for Medical Laboratory Science and Clinical Lab Science, who will begin the program presentation awards.
I think they forgot my stool. The Francis Guthrie Outstanding Student Award is presented to a medical laboratory science student who has demonstrated exceptional ability based on stringent academic and professional criteria. The recipient of this award is chosen by faculty, clinical sites, and students. The award is named in honor of a former faculty member, Frances Guthrie, who devoted many years to the program as an instructor in microbiology. Ms. Guthrie passed away in 2001. This year's recipient is Diem May. The next award is the Alice Scott Hitt Faculty Award, which is presented to a graduating student who has demonstrated outstanding personal and professional characteristics. The recipient of the award is chosen by the Medical Laboratory Science faculty. This award may not be given every year. This year's recipient is Danielle Grant. The next award is the Brenta G. Davis Outstanding Clinical Laboratory Science Graduate Student Award, which is presented to a graduate of the Master of Science in Clinical Laboratory Science program. It's presented to a student who demonstrates scholarship, character, and dedication to the highest ethical and professional standards. The student must achieve a GPA of 3.5 or higher on a 4.0 scale. The award honors Dr. Brenta G. Davis, Professor Emeritus, who is a visionary leader in the laboratory science profession. This year we have 2 recipients. The awards go to Jessica Parks and Caitlin Wright. Now I would like to welcome back Dr. Keisha Burnett, Program Director for Cytopathology Practice.
The Cyrus C. Erickson Award in Cytotechnology is named in remembrance of a nationally recognized pioneer in the field of cytopathology, and he was also the medical director of our cytotechnology program. The faculty used the following qualities when choosing a recipient for this award: academic standing, professional attitude, technical skill, initiative, and personality. This year's recipient is Chelsea Monet Sandrell Bridges. The Jerry Wells Gorley Award in Histotechnology is designated in honor of a longtime outstanding educator and former program director in histotechnology. This is awarded to a student in recognition of their professional attitude, knowledge, and technical skill. This year's recipient is McKaylee Catherine Kirkland. Yes, McKaylee. I would like to now introduce Dr. Ann Zachary, Chair of the Department of Occupational Therapy.
Good afternoon. Each year, the occupational therapy faculty selects a graduating student who has demonstrated exemplary academic achievement in both didactic and fieldwork education. The recipient of this year's Achievement Award is Kylie Blair Donovan. For this next award, the faculty and students select a graduating student who has demonstrated the professional characteristics of outstanding leadership in didactic coursework, during fieldwork rotations, in service, and during extracurricular activities. The recipient of this year's Leadership Award in Occupational Therapy is Carly Jo Mahaffey. For the Rosemary Batorsky Community Service Award in Occupational Therapy, the faculty members select a graduating student or students who have demonstrated outstanding service to their class, UTHSC, or the community at large. We had a tie this year, and the recipients are Rachel Walker and Tedrin Elian. The President's Award in Occupational Therapy is granted to a student who demonstrates outstanding and continuous service to the occupational therapy program, is an acknowledged leader by their peers, and is a supportive liaison to the faculty and university. This year's recipient is Megan Wilson. Congratulations to all of you. I would now like to introduce Dr. Barry Dale, Chair of the Department of Physical Therapy.
It's my privilege and honor to award the awards for our department this year, the Physical Therapy Awards. Our first award is the Outstanding Student Award. This award is presented on behalf of the academic and clinical faculty to a graduate in recognition of their excellent performance in both the classroom and the clinical settings. This year's recipients are Dr. Victoria Marie Hamby and Dr. Haley Grace Hathcock. Our next award is the Ayers Award, which is presented to the graduate that epitomizes the personal and professional qualities valued and cultivated by the UTHSC Doctor of Physical Therapy program. This award is bestowed upon an individual who demonstrates exceptional interpersonal skills with classmates, faculty, and patients. We don't necessarily award this award every year. However, we're excited that we have a worthy recipient, and that is Dr. Ian Roan Campbell. The highest honor the faculty can bestow upon a graduate is the Physical Therapy Faculty Award. This award requires a unanimous vote of the faculty and is given in recognition of outstanding academic and clinical performance, as well as the potential for leadership in the profession of physical therapy. This award is also not necessarily awarded every year. We do have a recipient, though, and I'm happy to announce that this recipient is Dr. Summer Amanda Hedrick. Finally, we recognize the class president in the Department of Physical Therapy. This year's class president is Dr. John Philip Epperson. So please join me in congratulating all of the awards recipients one more time. Thank you. Congratulations. I now welcome Dr. Alway back to the podium.
We have some amazing students and some amazing faculty, and congratulations to all the awardees. At this time, I'd like to have the graduates please rise. Chancellor Buckley, I have the honor and the pleasure to present on behalf of the faculty of the respective health professions the candidates for the degrees of the Bachelor of Science in Medical Laboratory Sciences, the Master of Science in Clinical Laboratory Sciences, the Master of Cytopathology Practice, the Master of Health Informatics and Information Management, the Master of Occupational Therapy, and the Doctor of Physical Therapy. These students have fulfilled the academic and clinical requirements necessary to practice these professions, and they will become active members of the healthcare team.
Thank you, Dean Alway. This is the moment you've been waiting for. I accept for confirmation these candidates and welcome you to this ancient and honorable company of scholars, and express the hope and challenge that you continue your inquiries and study into these exciting areas of healthcare. By the authority of the state of Tennessee, invested in the Board of Trustees of the University of Tennessee, and by them delegated to me, I do, on the nomination of our faculty, grant you the degrees for which you have been presented and confer on you all the honors, rights, and privileges to them appertaining. It thus gives me great pleasure and pride and honor to present you the graduating class of University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Health Professions for May 2022. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Please be seated.
Will the graduates please come forward at the direction of the marshals to receive your academic hood and earned diploma as your name is called. Please hold your applause until all names have been read. Deem Mai. Alam Murshid. Yazan Akil. Courtney Grant. Jeffrey Greenlee. Pooja Mistry. Jessica Parks. Carter Pruitt. Lauren Shine. Cameron Taylor. Caitlin Wright. Amberly Baker. Chelsea Bridges. Christy Fumba. Michaela Kirkland. Caitlin Richmond. Dominique Crutchfield. Jeffrey Givens. And Elizabeth McCandless. Elizabeth Barton. Allison Brewer. Mary Burton. Lauren Kamadzand. Amy Carver. Lucy D'Angelo. Kylie Donovan. Tidran Elian. Caleb Harbor. Megan Henley. Lindy Hill. Sydney Inman. Molly Kafader. Alexandria Keithley. Molly King. No, Kyla Key, excuse me. Sorry about that. Molly King. Carolyn Knight. Samuel Lopez. Katie Lowry. Carly Mahaffey. Brittany Malone. Kayla McDaniel. Allison Nance. Amy Patton. Madison Payne. Mallory Rodriguez. Claire Salser. Rachel Schwam. Olivia Smith. Stephanie Takahashi. Michaela Taylor. Catherine Tenner. Shelby Terror. Rachel Walker. Haley Warrington. Aaron Williams. Madison Williams. Alexis Williamson. Megan Wilson. J.T. Wright. Robert Balducci. Rachel Bolton. Alexis Burton. Christina Caller. Caroline Campbell. Dalton Campbell. Ian Campbell. Sloan Klein. Alexandra Collier. Haley Darty. Andrew Davis. Callie Decker. Tasha Denton. Sydney Duncan. Thomas Ellis. Rebecca English. Jake Epperson. Thomas Ewing. Maria Frog. Samuel Farmer. Ross Granderson. Gabriel Grant. James Groves. Madeline Hamblin. Victoria Hamby. Joel Harbolt. Haley Hathcock. Chandler Hawkins. Annika Headland. Summer Hedrick. Rebecca Hidalgo. Christopher Huff. Courtney Isom. Kadarius Jack. Hannah James. Shushma Kalava. Emily Kyle. Glenn Lamar. Rachel Lawhorn. And Rebecca Lockhart. Rebecca Luther. Stephanie McClanahan. Abby McCrory. Claire Morris. Lee Moss. Rahul Patel. Shivani Patel. Brooke Patton. James Patton. Hallie Perriman. Mitchell Quigley. Emily Rice. Caitlin Ross. Kanan Sakish. Ashton Smith. Mason Stevens. Jordan Walsh. Alexander Williams. Caitlin Wilson.
Again, congratulations to all our graduates. It's wonderful to see the enthusiasm. That's what it should be about. This year we are celebrating our 50th anniversary of forming our college and the 100th anniversary of the Medical Laboratory Sciences program. Therefore, we are deeply honored to have one of our Medical Laboratory Sciences program's alumni today as our guest speaker. Ms. Mylene Strickland is a 1995 graduate of the University of Tennessee College of Health Professions. After graduation, she worked as a medical laboratory scientist at the Memphis VA Medical Center before taking a job in medical and laboratory sales. Presently, she works for Johnson & Johnson and serves as a pharmaceutical representative for their Janssen Neuroscience division, where she has been for the past 22 years. Mrs. Strickland brings a history of success with her experience in a career with roots in health professions. Mrs. Strickland has a very busy life, but when she is not working or spending time with her family, she volunteers weekly for A Rise to Read, volunteers at the Memphis Animal Shelter, serves on the board at the Memphis Brooks Museum of Art, and she plays tennis. She also happens to be married to Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland, and they have two wonderful children. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Melanie Strickland to our podium now. Thank you, Lynn.
President Boyd, Chancellor Buckley, Dr. Russell, Dean Alway, faculty, graduates, and guests. Thank you for having me today. It's good to be here, and I was just thinking back in preparation on many memories of my time here at the UT Health Science Center. So much can happen, as you know, in a short time period. Couple things that happened to me. I was able to land a date to the caduceus ball with a medical student. That seemed like a big deal at the time, only to find my dress melted on my midtown radiator the day of the ball. I met my husband just before graduating here, and I must give credit to an amazing group of teachers. I learned so much, I was even able to diagnose myself type 1 diabetic in lab. So at last I met some great friends. In fact, one of them's here today, and we were just laughing last night. She's watching her daughter graduate. We were reminiscing about how much fun we had and how hard we worked. So very glad to have those friendships today. Graduates of UT Health Science Center, congratulations. You have chosen wisely. There is no doubt you've worked hard and most likely eagerly anticipated the end of this educational journey, only to embrace your next journey working in your chosen field. Tomorrow, you will wake up a healthcare professional. I personally find healthcare so interesting. All these different areas of study, so broad, yet specific, so specialized, yet so the same, all helping others today in hopes for a better tomorrow. A gift we should never take for granted is that of good health. With your profession, you will now help to navigate the road of health and its future for so many people that you will encounter. So how did we all get here today? Well, my journey most likely began thumbing through the pages of the 1973 edition of Childcraft encyclopedias, flipping back and forth between the photos of the skeletal system, the circulatory system, respiratory system, and I distinctly remember being very fascinated with the digestive and urinary system. I imagined all of these to be like puzzle pieces in my own body with the same colors used in the illustrations. So when college came around, science seemed like the obvious choice, and I knew I preferred something in healthcare. I applied to the medical technology program, now called Medical Laboratory Science, and I graduated in 1995. Worked at the VA hospital here in Memphis for a few years before heading out into sales, doing laboratory supplies and equipment sales. That made sense to stay close to the lab, because after all, it was my profession. I was later recruited to a division of Johnson & Johnson to be a pharmaceutical representative for Janssen Neuroscience. Ironically, I never wanted to be a pharmaceutical sales representative, but here I am 22 years later. I never thought studying and selling in disease states such as schizophrenia, schizoaffective, bipolar, ADHD, and depression would suit me for so long, but I now know it is where I was meant to be. Interesting that I'm a girl that went from the lab to mental health, one of the few areas of healthcare for which there is no lab test. Some days, it feels like I am worlds away from my days in the lab. I may not know the latest equipment. I don't get to yell stat anymore, unless I'm yelling at my kids. But then there's those moments where my studies here. Maybe it's my research project at Le Bonheur, my work at the VA, my degree, my profession come back. These are moments when I can connect with a customer on a whole new level that only another healthcare professional can do. It could be over discussing a patient's lab, an upcoming Joint Commission inspection at the hospital, a favorite rotation, or just walking around the UT Health Science Center campus. Whatever it is, a connection is made. For you see, there is common ground amongst healthcare professionals. The love of science, the respect of your hard work and studies, your unique and chosen specialty, your compassion, the care, and desire to aid someone else. I don't have to be the #1 sales representative, but I desire to be the #1 patient advocate. I may not always be a sales representative, but I know I will always be a medical laboratory scientist. After all, it is my profession. I was advised by some coworkers when I left the VA not to let my license expire, and I thought, well, I'm going into sales. I don't know if I really need it, but they encouraged me to keep it, letting me know that reinstating could be quite the task. So I listened, and I still write a check every year to the Medical Health Board. In sales, there can be uncertainty, layoffs, reorganizations, and downsizing. And although these aren't as common as they once were in my business, nobody forgets being told to go home, sit by the phone to find out their placement or displacement with the company. One time, as the reps were waiting to find out where she would land, a girl said to me, "Melanie, you should not even be worried. You can always go back to the hospital." Sales had been her career, and although she could search for another sales position, I knew she was right. A profession as a healthcare worker easily gave me options. In another reorganization years later, as we awaited our assignments, my partner looked at me and said, "At least you have a profession in healthcare, Melanie. You can always get a job." He was right. I wasn't feeling the uncertainty so many I worked with were experiencing. I managed to survive those company changes over the years, and I held my position, but I will tell you, I was always grateful for the advice to keep my state licensure. After all, it is my profession. By the way, my partner Jamie quit his sales job. He went back to school here. He chose healthcare and is now a nurse anesthetist. There are many careers out there to choose from, and we know that we are not the only professionals. However, you and I are brought together today because we chose healthcare. Remember, broad, specific, and so very specialized. If we've learned anything over the last 2 years of a global pandemic, we certainly have learned how much we need our healthcare professionals. We need all of our healthcare professionals. I'd like to personally commend you and thank you for choosing healthcare. Today, as you become a graduate of this outstanding institution, you join a family of almost 400,000 UT alumni who live in Tennessee, across the nation, and around the world. No matter where you go or what you do from this point forward, you will always be a graduate and representative of the University of Tennessee. You've now become lifelong stakeholders in the image and reputation of our great university. The University of Tennessee Alumni Association challenges you to be active in the programs and events sponsored by this campus, your college, and the Alumni Association. Your participation will benefit the university, and you'll find personal and professional satisfaction throughout your involvement. You are a representative of this institution, and you have the ability to positively impact the opinions and actions of prospective students, fellow alumni, community leaders, and state legislators. So become an advocate of the university. Consider investing in the future of UT Health Science. Your support in any amount will strengthen the university and provide enhanced opportunities for those students who will follow you. Keep us informed of your successes. These accomplishments are the best measures of the quality of your alma mater. Last year, thousands of UT alumni helped advance the university mission and goals by attending events and programs, participating in alumni surveys, and our online community, serving as volunteer leaders and investing their financial support to areas throughout the university. I urge you to take advantage of your membership in the Alumni Association by staying engaged with your university and in touch with your classmates. It is now my distinct honor to induct you into the University of Tennessee Alumni Association. I extend best wishes on behalf of almost 400,000 proud fellow UT alumni. Congratulations. Graduates, please stand. And you may now turn your tassels.
Thank you, Mrs. Strickland, for your challenges, your thoughtful words, and for your presence today. We just appreciate that so much. Congratulations, graduates and now alumni of the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Your journey is just beginning as you go beyond these walls and begin your careers in healthcare professions. But as you go, we invite you to continue to connect with us because, after all, you are part of our UT family and a graduate of the College of Health Professions and the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Please join me in giving the graduates a well-deserved round of applause for their accomplishments. I want to thank the family and friends and all the guests for honoring and helping celebrate this significant day in the lives of our graduates today. I'd like to also acknowledge the Brass Menagerie for providing the beautiful music that you have given to us, and Miss Brittany McCullough for such a wonderful job in leading the national anthem. A couple of housekeeping things, announcements just before we close. Graduates, as a reminder, your diploma will be mailed to your current address that you provided the registrar. Make sure that's the real one this time. Please also return your graduation regalia to the designated area before you leave today, or they will come and hunt you down. This concludes the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Graduate Health Professions May 2021 commencement ceremony. I'd ask that friends and family remain in your seats while the faculty and graduates recess, then you'll be welcome to leave the auditorium. Class of 2022, you may recess under the direction of your college marshals. These proceedings are now closed.